We heard you missed us, we're back. I brought my controller. Give me something to game on. Hello and welcome to World 2 of KoopaTalkLive. My name is James Leffingwell. I'm your host. And just like George Michaels, I want your sex. Joining me today is the man that could very well be your Spanish lullaby, Michael Deal. Hey, Mike.
Hey, what's up, folks? Glad to be back.
Damn right. And of course, I'm also joined by my second co-host, the dude that looks like a lady, William Stasinski.
Hi, everybody.
Who wants to start off this party?
6 months of catching up. Fuck.
Alright.
Where do I start? What was the last?
Give us your gaming history in the last 10 months. Give us your gaming history from the last 6 months and do it in 10 minutes.
Last game I freaking remember playing from 6 months ago would be Dead Island. That's about it. A lot of Pawn Stars. A lot of Pawn Stars. Oh, shit. I decided to get on board with the Uncharted series, finally.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What?
I will say I'm sorry for that.
Oh. It's been fun so far with the Uncharted series. I can't complain, but I don't know. I gotta finish them both before I can give an honest review. I've, beaten Battlefield 3 already. The story, play a little bit of multiplayer online. A lot better than the second one. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about frickin' Modern Warfare or anything like that. Battlefield 3 is a frickin' shooter that they need to be playing. Send me requests. LA Noire, I decided to bring that back out of the cupboard. And what else? I beat Assassin's Creed Revelations 2. I beat Resistance 3.
Revelations?
Yeah, Revelations. Thank you, James, for correcting me. I already told you, it's hard with these freaking two brain cells. And the last one would be Resistance 3, which I busted through last night. That's
well, if there's two that you should probably talk about, then as far as what people may not know all too much about, just because they came out recently, and not a lot of people have actually had a chance to play them. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations and a little bit about Dead Island. Then.
Fuck! Oh, how could I forget? I freaking played Skyrim.
Bite me.
Yes. Sorry, I just thought I'd throw that last little sucker punch in there. And James is silent because it hurts. The burn is sinking in. Ouch.
Alright, start explaining those games.
Skyrim, fun, open world, frickin' RPG. Been a long time since I've been able to play one.
Not the two games we were talking about, asshole.
Too bad, you're getting this one first. I know how much it frickin' burns, James. But anyway, it's fun. Sucks to be low level, though, whenever you first start out. Owned so many times by that fucking first dragon. I'm only 12 hours in so far. But it keeps on giving and giving so far. As for Dead Island, it's a fun game. Zombie, stereotypical game. Except throw in an island, and there you have Dead Island. Storyline towards the end, don't want to give away much. Could have been better. Could have been a lot better. Overall gaming mechanics, fun. I wish there was more guns, though. What was the other one? Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Yeah.
Go out.
You get new bombs. They look like coconuts. But they're bombs.
Yes. Oh, man. Really fun. I like the frickin' story from all the previous Assassin's Creed. This one keeps on layering onto it. Now I can't wait for the next one to come out. They got me by the balls. and I can't wait till it comes out. Online multiplayer, awesome.
Better than Brotherhood?
They fine-tuned a lot of stuff that they did in Brotherhood. So overall, I'd give it what online. The last one, Brotherhood, about 7. This one about 8, 8.5.
Now, the one complaint that I've heard several times, time and time again, about the Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations is that as far as like being a good chunk of the story arc, it very much falls flat and doesn't really tell you shit. That's the chief complaint I hear.
Yeah, it all depends on what your preference is. If you like the Assassin's Creed story, you're going to like this one. If you don't like it, then it's going to fall flat. Most people don't like because Ezio's had freaking, 3 games to his namesake so far. And they're tired of him and they want something new.
Well, no, and it's not the complaints people are giving. The complaints that people are giving is that it doesn't really move Ezio's story along. That doesn't really give that much to the, this epitaph that is, the Assassin's Creed storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that subject, I actually will say that one of my Christmas presents that I got was the book Assassin's Creed Revelations. So they wrote an entire novel on the storyline. I'm pretty sure there's something in there.
Yeah. I was going to say, this one just ends Ezio's frickin' book, so to speak.
Ends his storyline, finally?
Yeah. As I say, Ezio, this one is like 50 years old, and it ties a lot of questions that you've had from the previous.
Altair doesn't stop being an assassin until, he doesn't stop, actually, running around and doing stuff until he's 70 or so.
Who?
Altair from the first one.
Oh, 70 years old? Or 70?
70.
70, okay. I thought.
Yeah, that's when he performs his final assassination.
Yeah.
I read the book.
Yeah. He's done his homework books.
Nerd.
That's a term of endearment, James.
I know.
Oh, man. Overall, it's a good game. And that's what I've been playing.
I might as well take this over then. Let's see here. Recently, a lot of Sonic. I was, really, really, really hyped about Sonic Generations, which, I wanted to remember what a really good 3D Sonic game feels like. So I actually ended up borrowing a copy of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I took one of my GameCubes, home from the store that's currently no longer sitting in our inventory. It'll end up back someday. But, grabbed a GameCube, grabbed a memory card, grabbed a controller, and I've been playing the hell out of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in preparation for Sonic Generations. Because, like I said, I just wanted to remember what a badass 3D Sonic game is supposed to be. And, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. Sonic games recently, especially in the past 10 years, really, with the exception of maybe Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, have been just pure shit.
What about Shadow the Hedgehog?
Shadow the Hedgehog is...
I'm kidding. Go on.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Good. That's a strange beast. But as far as that all goes, then for Christmas I ended up getting Sonic Generations, and oh my god, is it excellent! The storyline is shallow at best. It definitely doesn't meet Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in its grandiose, engulfing storyline, which, by the way, is the only Sonic game that ever had a grandiose, engulfing storyline. So, that doesn't disappoint me too much. But what's important is that the gameplay is done insanely well. And the cool part about it all is they're going through and you get to play a reimagined 2D version and then a reimagined 3D version of, a bunch of the different levels from, all the different Sonic games. For example, your first level is, the traditional green hills from Sonic 1. Your second level that you get to do, second stage, is the chemical plant from Sonic 2. Then there's Sky Sanctuary from the Knuckles one, and then after that you move on to the 3D games in the second section, which includes, of course, my personal favorite, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which they did an amazing homage of.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, I mean, it's been really amazing. Don't go to it for storyline, which, like I said, is not really what you go to a Sonic game for. But as far as everything they've done, the tribute that they've paid to all the old school Sonic games is just really amazing. They've done an amazing job with it. The gameplay feels fast. The 2D stuff is done really well. The 3D stuff is amazing. And then what they have you do is after you complete the 3 stages, you then have to do 5 different challenges for each one of those stages that you'll have to do as the 3D Sonic and as the 2D Sonic in order to get, bonus materials, more points for buying power-ups that you can equip onto your Sonics and other things. But it's more or less so you can get these 3 boss keys that'll let you, fight the boss and move on to the next 3 sections. Overall, as far as the, amount of gameplay stuff that's in there, it's actually a pretty good offering. There's only 9 core levels, but when you consider that each one of those levels, you have to, do it normally, then do it with 3D Sonic, and then you have 5 challenges for 2D Sonic and 5 challenges for 3D Sonic in each of these 9 levels. It actually definitely adds some meat to the game. If it was just those 9 levels, it'd be crap, and you'd blow through it in, 4 hours, if not less. But I'm a good 20 hours in, and I've completed something like 32 stages out of 122.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely got some meat to it.
So the burning question: which Sonic do you prefer?
I'd say 3D Sonic. Just, although the 3D Sonic levels are definitely harder, and I mean, they tell you that right at the get-go. They say, when you enter a new stage, the wisest thing to do is do the 2D Sonic level and then do the 3D Sonic level, because the 3D Sonic level is going to be harder. However, with 2D, you can only do so many tricks, you can only, do so much, background stuff, only do so much graphical fidelity, so on and so forth. And the levels don't really shine until you get that 3D perspective. I mean, anybody who's played Sonic 2 and played the Sonic 2 and has got to the second stage of Sonic 2, which is the chemical plant, when you see their vision of what the chemical plant level could have been in a modern Sonic game, it is totally mind-blowing. When you play the 2D one, it's like, okay, you guys tweaked the hell out of the level, you used a lot of the same themes, so on and so forth, but it still, kind of feels like Sonic 2. You don't really see kind of that breadth of imagination and everything else until you really, check out those 3D levels and what they've done there.
Okay.
So I definitely have to say the 3D Sonic, only because of the fact that it does add so much more to the gameplay. It adds so much more to the graphical fidelity, and it has a lot more imagination in it. So
now you're making me want to play Sonic.
It's really good. I mean, if you have ever been a fan of the Sonic games, whether it be the 2D style or the 3D style, which, God, I hope you're not a big fan of the 3D style, because then there was only about 2 games that were really made that were really decent. But, I mean, if you're a fan of either of them, or just, a fan of both of them to some degree, it's definitely worth checking out. It's got enough there to warrant the $60 price tag as far as, hours of entertainment versus, value, so on and so forth. That magic formula that, video game journalists keep trying to say doesn't exist, which I kind of agree. But other than that, though, just been kind of really goofing around. I mean, I haven't had a whole heck of a lot of time to do any gaming recently, thanks to, being engaged in everything else. It's taken a lot of my, time for gaming. So other than that, Pawn Stars like Mike, of course. Played some old Mario Party on the GameCube, which was fun. Let's see here. Dived a little farther into Alice Madness Returns, which is still amazing. That's still just a wonderful, wonderful game. I'd love to get back to L.A. Noire. I still haven't finished that. I'm still on the Homicide disc, which I know is really early in the game, and my mic's kind of ramming down my throat to get that finished. By the way, Mike, have you finished Heavy Rain yet?
Yeah, I beat that a while ago.
About damn time. About damn time.
What I've been playing, let's see, going back to when we first stopped, or when we ended the first season. See, I started playing Dead Island and Rise of Nations. Of course, I always play Rise of Nations, like, all the time. Like, every, about once a week, I'd say, is normally when I play it. Anyway, so Dead Island, and then there wasn't really much between Dead Island and Skyrim. I mostly just jumped right to Skyrim afterward. And I clocked in a lot of hours on Skyrim. I really lost count after, 20 hours or so. Suffice to say, pretty much all of my free time was spent playing Skyrim. After I came home for winter break is when I actually started playing some of the other games that came out. I played Halo Reach on Legendary with my brother all the way through. I beat Portal 2 single player and co-op with my brother as well. I played Wii Fit, oddly enough. I played Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2, which was a really good game, except for how short it was. It was only like 4 hours. And it really, like, the ending cutscene wasn't too bad, but it was just really, I was really grasping and hoping for more. It just kind of ends, and it's very anticlimactic, and you're like, wow, that's the game? What? Overall, though, it was a pretty decent game, just way too short. What else have I played? I still haven't played L.A. Noire yet.
Mm-hmm.
However you pronounce that. So, that's another one that I'm looking forward to playing at some point in the future. I just don't know when. And that's about it. I really have not played a whole lot.
Folks, this is why we didn't start Season 2 until now. Okay, 2011, a year in review. I'm not sure if this should so much be a news topic as it should be a talk about it, or if it should be, I don't know where the hell this really belongs. But we're going to freaking talk about 2011. But, I mean, there's been some shit going on in 2011. I mean, for example, let's talk about LA Noire in general. Not so much of the game itself, but the impact that it had. The studio that was working on it, that worked on it for 9 years, worked on it purely as a labor of love and put as much time into it. And when it was released, they were already so far over their heads. They knew they'd never make the money back. They knew it was going to be kind of, one of the cult classics that, was, a lot of people would pick up. They were hoping that because of the Rockstar license, it would become as popular as Red Dead Redemption, which obviously, history has shown us that it wasn't. But the important thing is that studio stayed around for 9 years to develop this technology and everything else. And when they released the game, they went bankrupt and the studio closed.
Yeah.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Shit that happened in 2011. Let's the Duke Nukem Forever. Holy shit. Which
my brother went and picked up Duke Nukem Forever for like $10.
I thought they dropped it to $9.
Yeah, something like that. It was really cheap. However much it costed when he got it.
Yeah. Duke Nukem freaking bombed.
My brother was talking to me, and he said that the reason why people hated it so much is because it was apparently way too much like the older games, which was what everybody was saying they should do. Apparently they did too good of a job at making Duke Nukem Forever like the older games, just newer and better graphics. So apparently people don't want the old Duke Nukem games again. They want something new and special. Maybe they want a game with a storyline, which I'm pretty sure Duke Nukem did not have.
I mean, here's the thing. It's one of those weird things. The people who were fans of Duke Nukem were fans of Duke Nukem when they were, 13, 14, 15. They're now 21 through 23. Guess what? In that amount of time, your tastes change a little.
Yes, we've gotten spoiled.
Yeah, I never actually played the Duke Nukem games, so Duke Nukem Forever was never one of those titles that called out to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it was on 64 the last time I played a Duke Nukem game.
You and me both.
It was fun, then it dropped off the face of the earth. I found other shit.
Yeah, better shit. Holy shit, Steve Jobs died this year.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That was intense.
Yeah.
I was like in the cafeteria eating lunch, I think, and I looked up at the TV and it was like, Steve Jobs is dead. And I was like, what? That can't be right. And then I went and looked it up and it was right. And I was like, Jesus.
All right, I guess that's our year in review for 2011. I really wanted to get the sales figure numbers up for this episode, but those haven't been published yet for the end of year, so that'll be in our news next week.
Tell people to send in emails about years in review. That'd be cool.
Yeah. If you guys have anything that you want to mention about the year in review for 2011, what made 2011 stand out for you, or what in 2011 stood out for you, definitely send those emails into KoopaTalkLive, all one word, @gmail.com, and we'll read them off on the next episode.
Please don't mention the Wii U, because we don't take that seriously here.
GamePro is considered kind of the first, really big video games journalistic branch. They did the first, print magazine that you could go out and buy, so on and so forth. A lot of gamers grew up with GamePro, and basically, in the late 80s, all you had was Nintendo Power and GamePro. That was where you got all your gaming information from, was those two sources. And just, after a very long legacy, GamePro had to stop print. And that's because their sales figures are just so down because, well, basically the internet killed them. And now we have, citizen journalists, which is basically what we are. We're considered some citizen journalists. But so are the people that just go on YouTube and do their own review of a game, people who do Let's Plays, people who write on message boards and forums for things like GameStop and IGN and game trailers and everything else. These people are all considered citizen journalists, and because of the internet and everything else, and all these citizen journalists, people like us, GamePro was dead.
Interesting. So we're kind of seeing how paper writing is just becoming obsolete compared to just being able to go on the internet and look up your own information at any time. Everything is at your fingertips now, not just what's in the magazine.
Exactly. And, let's face it. Here's the difference between GamePro and the big one that's still around right now is
Game Informer?
Game Informer, thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
My brother actually has Game Informer.
Yeah, most people do. But the only reason why Game Informer is still around and GamePro isn't is because, let's face it, you automatically get your subscription to Game Informer when you get your Edge card from GameStop. When you get your Power Up Rewards cards from GameStop, you automatically get that subscription. And it's because of the fact that Game Informer, paired up with GameStop, that magazine's still in print. Because if you want your discounts at GameStop, you have to get that subscription.
Yeah. It's mostly because somewhere where gamers still actually go is there. Even Game Informer could eventually buy out based on where we're going on getting our games. With GameFly and how prevalent that's becoming, it could very well be that people don't even go to GameStop anymore. And GameStop starts losing money, so Game Informer starts losing money, and they both have to close. That all links back to GameFly and Netflix and how those are kind of... just kind of taking over the market. Redbox,
and
stuff like that.
Blockbuster now. And Blockbuster now, too.
Yeah.
True.
Which, we're going to get to that story a little later, but we'll definitely talk about that, of course.
You mean also... Topic?
Shut up! But,
all right, go on.
On top of that, let's not discount, places like Amazon. I buy more games off Amazon than I ever do at a GameStop.
Yeah. And by buying games off of Amazon, you're inadvertently also ending one of the few gaming magazines that's still around, and that's Game Informer. My brother still has a subscription to Game Informer, but if he didn't shop at GameStop, he probably wouldn't.
Netflix FUBAR. We're all pretty much in the loop about what happened when Netflix decided to jump its pay rate from, everybody knows, from like $14.99 for like 2 at a time disc-based rental and unlimited streaming to like, let's see, 60% of that increased. So instead of paying like $14.99, you could be paying $29.99. Another thing they decided,
I was going to say, I mean, I just recently got a Netflix account, and I pay $21 a month for one disc and unlimited watch instantly.
Yeah. And being say we're going to separate the DVD and the streaming, so you'd have to pay, that's why you're having to pay the extra coinage for both. $8.99 for streaming and about like $7.99 if you want to do one disc rentals of unlimited or something like that. Anyway,
I'm paying a lot more than that, man. So
yeah,
try those numbers again.
That was beginning of the figure. This is from an old article that I'm reading off of right now, but oh well. You get the point. They jumped at 60% and now everybody's hurting, and so is Netflix, because people are bound to notice when rates go up by 60%. They start canceling their subscriptions. And about 10 million subscribers go away, you're hurting. So this is where Blockbuster decides to jump on the bandwagon. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing that Netflix used to do. Charge what are they charging, like $8 for unlimited rentals for disc-based DVDs? Oh, and they're going to throw in games that you can rent as well. And they don't charge more for what? Blu-ray discs. Yeah. So while Netflix decided to shoot itself in the foot, Blockbuster's doing well.
Yeah. Blockbuster decided to rise from the grave, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Blockbuster's going the same way as Hollywood Video until this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're taking Netflix's place as pretty much the rental place to have.
Yeah.
If I may cut in here for a second.
Go ahead.
We were preparing the show the other night, and Mike told me about this, how Blockbuster's one disc at a time is $9.99, and it's like, oh shit, I'm going to go there. Okay, they're offering a 30-day free trial. Kick ass, sign up. I'll take 2 discs at a time. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Blu-ray. Yes. Give me some games, give me some Blu-rays. I put about 8 on my queue Wednesday night, which was like the 28th. It took them until Friday to send Blur for the 360, one of the lowest on my queue. And the second slot, what have they sent me? Nothing. They have still not sent out the second disc. And I have 8 games and movies on my queue. So, 30-day trial, what are we, like 5 days in? I'm thinking after it runs out, I'm going to stick with Netflix and GameFly. Mm-hmm. I will update you guys if you're interested in 2 weeks or so what happens with that. But so far, they took 2 days to fucking ship Blur, and they say, oh, it's going to arrive at your house on Tuesday.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't gotten their shipping shit down yet.
And it's supposed to be 2 at a time, not 1 at a time.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. It's like, come on, send me something. So what do? I just said, fuck it, and I went out and bought Dead Island.
Alrighty. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show. Fans included, by the way. Not only is this our favorite part of the show, but also we get more emails about this than anything else. It just people love the Talk About section. In fact, we've got several requests in to extend the Talk About section, to add more topics, everything else. This is definitely kind of the heart and soul of the show. So we're going to start off Season 2 the right way. World 2 the right way. And we're going to start by just discussing the genre of open world RPGs. And Will, seeing as how this was your idea for this Talk About, we're going to let you go ahead and start it off.
All right. So when I was playing Skyrim and Dead Island and some of the other games that I've been playing lately, I noticed that a lot of it is just getting to run around, explore, find things out, just really discover things for yourself. Essentially just open world RPGs. You know, you can just go out and discover things about the world that you're living in that you would never be able to do in a linear game. Like in Halo, you can't really just go around and explore and find really weird out there things like you can in an open world RPG. Now, with the Elder Scrolls games, they've been doing this for years. I've actually played the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, and it's probably one of the biggest games ever made. Apparently, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is only about 5% the size of the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. So,
and may I interject?
Yes.
I never got bored in Morrowind. I dumped hundreds of hours into Morrowind and never got bored.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say here, is Bethesda really knows what they're doing now, and Skyrim really has not failed to impress really anyone as far as I know. Pretty much everybody who's played Skyrim so far has said it's a great game, it's really awesome, really great gameplay, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. It's a really great game. But the main thing that I'm wondering about is other genres that have been going to open world RPGs. You know, the Resident Evil games and the Left 4 Dead games are very linear gameplay. You don't really get to run around and explore and find things out about your world. But Dead Island changes all of that. It's a zombie game where you can just go around and discover the world around you. And you aren't stuck just doing these little boring quest objectives. You get to actually run around, beat the crap out of zombies, and learn things about this island that you're stuck on, too. You're not just doing the same, you're not just doing, like, grab quests or escort quests or something like that. You are actually getting to run around and find things out on your own. And I thought it was really interesting that a genre that has almost exclusively been linear from the beginning is now turning into an open world RPG. Dead Island has really opened the doors for a genre that I really couldn't see a future for past linear gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 points. Number one is, we're going to get to the Skyrim topic here in a second, but number one is, I was thinking about this actually, and even LA Noire has open world elements. I mean, they always try to keep you on that, you know, progressive, you know, statement and everything else like that. But at any time in the game, you can go anywhere in LA. You can go out and find the movie reels and everything else. There's so much more to LA Noire than, you know, just solve this case, rinse, wash, repeat, solve this case, rinse, wash, repeat. That's the meat and potatoes of it. But there is, you know, that whole open world element, and they just threw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the focus of the gameplay, but it was there nonetheless.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was there for you to take advantage of if you wanted to. Also, I think Justin would like to interject here, because he's the first person I've ever heard say anything bad about Skyrim. Justin was honestly not impressed with Skyrim, and if he's, you know, still around and wants to come on, I'd be interested for you guys to hear what he has to say, because it kind of blew me away.
Okay, so I went out and I eagerly rented Skyrim. I was expecting, you know, like this, I don't know what you want to call it, if it's melee combat. I was expecting like this open world RPG, kind of very much like Dragon Age, which I love. And I just feel like there's a reason that it's 300 hours long, because it is fucking slower than molasses. You know, I'm sorry, but if I play a game for 5 hours and I'm not even in love with it, I'm not even really enjoying it, it's just kind of like tedious. Now, you did use the word impressed earlier. The graphics, oh my God. I'm a graphics whore. I have a, 32-inch HD TV, 1080p. The graphics, oh my God, will make it come in your pants. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. I didn't find it, video games are supposed to be fun. You're supposed to like enjoy what you're doing and everything. I look at video games like TV or movies or something. You got to do something interesting in the beginning of the game. If you put a video game in and you play it for 5 hours and nothing fucking interesting happens, that's like, ask any screenwriter. That is a no, 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 no.
Well, let's just talk about that idea, though. That's an interesting idea, that here in this open world where there are so many scripted, non-scripted, everything else, so many different moments that can happen at any given time, Justin was bored to fucking tears for the first an entire 5 hours. How the fuck does that happen?
All right, on that topic, I will say that they actually made Skyrim a lot better for running around than the earlier Elder Scrolls games. Because in the older Elder Scrolls games, you had to level up your acrobatics and athletics so that you could jump and run better. You know, you are jumping all over the place to increase your acrobatics in Morrowind and Oblivion. I'm sure James knows what I'm talking about, and probably Mike too.
Yep.
Exactly. You just jump everywhere so that you can increase your acrobatics.
You didn't jump because you like to jump. You jumped because, fuck, I've got to walk over here. I might as well be training something while I'm doing it. So everywhere you went, you looked like a fucking imbecile because you just hopped everywhere.
Yeah.
You never stopped hopping.
Exactly. The same with athletics. Just the more you run around and fast travel less, the higher your athletics goes, so the faster you can run and get away from enemies if you need to. Or just back away and shoot them from a distance with spells or arrows or something like that. No, I don't know who used a bow in the earlier games. But it was, in Skyrim, that's the first game where they did not give you athletics or acrobatics. You automatically go the fastest speed in the game, and you automatically jump the highest in the game. They don't force you to do that stuff when you're just running from place to place. And that was actually something that really impressed me. They didn't make the game they didn't make the objectives unrealistically close to each other, so it was quite a distance to get from one place to another, but they didn't make it so you run obscenely slow early game. They actually made it so that you run at a pretty decent clip.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't start with Oblivion.
Yeah, because the objectives are the same distance apart, but you run at a snail's pace at the beginning of the game. You have to level that.
SOTOR versus WoW, which is, Star Wars: The Old Republic versus World of Warcraft. And just this idea, people talked, as they were showing off Star Wars: The Old Republic over and over again, people referred to it quite often as, maybe finally the WoW killer. Well, now that it's out, how do we feel about that?
Well, out of Star Wars: The Old Republic and World of Warcraft, I'd have to say the better one is Rift.
We're not talking about Rift.
Nice.
Sorry, I just had to add that in there because I think that Rift is a better one than either of them. But that's just my personal opinion. Out of the Old Republic and World of Warcraft, I haven't actually seen anyone playing the Old Republic yet. But it is based on a much richer and it has a much richer universe, and it has a lot more probably backstory to it than even World of Warcraft. And that's saying something. The Star Wars universe is a lot bigger than the Warcraft universe. And so the Old Republic has a much larger legacy to live up to than WoW. WoW has already gotten its fan base secured for the most part. That's the only reason why it's not dead yet. It's because there's still a fan base based on the Warcraft games that people have been doing for years. People who are still in the whole WoW thing are people who really think that they've made an achievement in that game by playing for so long and really don't want to change it all. So with people who've been playing WoW for years, chances are they'll go play the Old Republic and be like, this is such a better game than WoW. And then they'll go back to WoW and be like, well, this is the game I'm more familiar with, the game that I've been playing for years.
This is the game that I have all my investment in.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the Old Republic...
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think that the Old Republic is really going to pick up steam. And WoW is just going to last and last and last until Blizzard finally says, okay, guys, I think that's enough. Which they never will, of course.
Well, I think the important thing is that this is one of the most amazing things that I've heard about, Star Wars: The Old Republic is it was a quote from one of the editors at G4 who had said that a lot of the, quest archetypes and structures, there are still, those horrible quest archetypes that are, fetch quests, for example. go kill this many of this, go kill, as many of this as you need to pick up 5 of X item, so on and so forth. But what they were saying is because of the fact that you are very much engrossed in the storyline and you do care about what happens to these people, and you're very much, led on very much an RPG, very, very highly invested RPG story arc, and the quest givers are very humanized in the fact that you have some kind of relationship to them, already, just by, who they are, what they are, so on and so forth. And then on top of that, they're voice acted and very well voice acted to where you're on a fetch quest, but you care more. It isn't just you ran up to random NPC, see gigantic text box, don't read it, scroll down to the bottom, okay, I need 5 of these, now I'm going to go kill a bunch of that and get 5 of those, then I'm going to go back so I can get my XP and move the hell on. You don't feel like that when you play Star Wars The Old Republic. You have some kind of personal relationship with that NPC quest giver who's just sending you on this fetch quest, and it feels real and it feels like it matters, which World of Warcraft has never been able to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now that actually calls me back to my early days in MMOs when I played RuneScape. Oddly enough, because pretty much every single quest in RuneScape has a purpose. There is no such thing as a fetch quest in RuneScape. All of it leads to something bigger. The only thing that can even be remotely considered a fetch quest, because it's a standalone quest that you don't have to do for anything else, that's Sheep Shearer. You go and shear some sheep, turn into balls of wool, and turn it in and finish the quest. That's the closest you can get to a fetch quest in that game. Everything else leads to something else.
Yeah.
And they become these big, massive, grandiose storylines that you never had any idea gathering these ingredients for a chef would lead to you killing pretty much the biggest badass in the game, That was something that really set RuneScape apart from everything else to me in the early days of my playing, and why I had so much trouble getting behind WoW when I first started playing it. And that's because the quests in RuneScape are so much richer than those in World of Warcraft, because they don't mean anything. And if the Old Republic changed that, then it's an infinitely better game than WoW, but probably still won't kill it, sadly enough. People like the kind of mind-numbing, just click, oh, I killed that thing kind of idea that World of Warcraft has, because it doesn't require intelligence or thought or really anything past, hey, I'm playing this game. And they think that it's some kind of crowning achievement to them to be able to heal a raid, or to be able to tank, or even just get a high DPS, That's all they have to look forward to is their personal achievements over other people. It's not a question of how much do you know, how much have you experienced. It's a question of how good are you, and that's it.
All right, our last talk about, and this is going to be something interesting, is can wrestling games make a comeback? And of course, what we're referring to is the new WWE game that just came out, which is currently being very highly critically acclaimed as one of the best wrestling games since the N64 era. That's a strong statement.
Yes, it is.
Do you play any wrestling games,
I don't
Mike?
know about you guys, but...
Yeah, I did. I stopped playing around 2011. The last one that came out. I haven't tried this new one yet.
I see. Okay, because the only wrestling I ever played was actually on the N64. It was a game called WCW NWO Revenge, and my brother owns that game still, and he, whenever I go and visit him, we go and play it on his Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Because we still love that game, and it is so silly and just fun that we play games like those.
Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character? Well, we named all of them different things. So that was sort of our favorite thing to do. Like,
give him the
we have a guy. we have there's a guy in there called Kid Man, and we called him Adult Man. And I don't even remember what the heck this guy's name was, but we found an alternate costume for him that had pink pants with like yellow lightning bolts down the side, so we called him Flaming Faggot Panties. and there was one guy, he had brown skin and a really like dark red Speedo that he could wear, and whenever you put it on, it looked like he wasn't wearing underwear at first, and then like you'd be like, what? And then you look a bit closer and you notice he was actually wearing a dark red Speedo, and so we called him Naked Man. And then we found like some bald white dude, and we put a yellow Speedo on him and called him Potty Boy, because like one of his taunts, he'd like grab his crotch and like do this little dance thing and then throw a tantrum, so it looked like he'd wet himself. That was really what made that game great for us, was just how silly it was. You know, it's nothing like real wrestling. Are you kidding me? You can't do that kind of stuff in a real wrestling game. And that was what made the N64 era of wrestling so much fun.
Yeah.
I played a PS2 game called SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and it was no fun. Because like I started playing the campaign mode thing on it, where you're supposed to like become the best wrestler, and like 6 matches in, I couldn't beat anything. They just were absolutely amazing, phenomenal wrestlers, and beat the ever living crap out of me. It was such a steep learning curve that it was no fun for me, and that's what I look for in wrestling games, is what's fun, not what's challenging, not what's difficult. I like to have fun on my wrestling games.
Will likes to have fun when he wrestles. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so, I mean, you know, this is just the basic question. You know, does anyone think that wrestling games can make a true comeback?
Well, Mike has a lot more experience in this than me, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much what I just gave you guys. Yeah, pretty much what I just gave you guys is my exhaustive list of everything I've ever done with wrestling.
Yeah, mine's even more boring than yours. So, I mean, Mike, you can take the forward on this one. So,
I was gonna say, just from trailers and stuff, you can, if you're a hardcore WWF fan, you can make your ring more style towards that and characters towards that. I mean, they really went immersive on this one. If you're like from 1989, you can set it like that, bring back some old characters and shit like that. But as far as gameplay, I'm not sure. I have to try it for myself first. If it's anything like the previous 2011, 2010 games, they're pretty good. I just want to see if they've how much they've tweaked it. In conclusion, I think, yeah, they have a chance if they do it right.
Well, that's a breath of fresh air, at least. If it's anything different from what the regular wrestling games are, like, Mike, I'm pretty sure you know what I mean about the steep learning curve if you've been playing them for a while. Like, you're probably really good at them, but I'm pretty sure you remember back when you first started playing the newer stuff, it was just frustrating how difficult it got.
Yeah.
And how quickly, too.
Yeah.
And it was just like you eventually had to kind of get over that hump and to be able to enjoy those games. You know, that was nowhere in the N64 era. And so I'm hoping that they really did something good with this new one.
Yeah.
Which I can't even remember the name of now.
I think that they're just calling it WWE 2012 or something like that. I'm not sure if it has a subtitle or anything. They used to do it for each one. Like Will used to say, shut your mouth. The next one was like, here comes the pain with Brock Lesnar. And then after SmackDown, and then whenever it turned to SmackDown versus Raw, they just got rid of that shit. So
WWE rope burn, bitch.
That would have been a good title.
What this is normally, you know, we do questions and things like that. You know, we've done a lot of different specials with the emails. But recently we've been racking up a lot of personalized emails, including even one that's personally for Justin. And these are from, you know, different ladies, different, you know, young women. And I'm going to talk about this for a minute only because of the fact that I'm still searching for the damn email file, which has all these things copied. But basically, there are definitely women out there who would like to know a little bit, more about us. Some of them are a little more personal. Some are, just about, creative process, so on and so forth. And one of them is really fun. I think we finally got somebody to write to us who's been a fan of the Giant Bomb cast because she wrote us a bunch of Giant Bomb style questions that the Giant Bomb crew gets a lot of the time. And so I'm really happy we finally got one of those. I've been waiting for one of these since we started Koopa Talk Live. So I'm really happy. She put 3 of them down. And there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of fun. So, yeah, I can't wait to get to that one. I think we're going to actually start off with that one just because I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. All right. This first one is from Carrie. Yeah, you got it. I cannot pronounce this one's last name. Carrie S. Leave it at that. Okay. This is the one done in the Giant Bomb Guy style, which I really love. There are many ways to know a lot of things about a man. However, they can be summed down into very simple questions that are just a matter of preference. So, in this case, I asked this question to each member of the KTL crew. Justin can be included in this if he wants. I don't know, it doesn't specify, so if he wants to answer this as well, he can. The first one is hot dogs or chili dogs? Now, mind you, when I say hot dogs, I mean hot dogs that can have mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, relish, pickles, onions, whatever your preferences may be, anything except for chili and cheese. So, under that category, hot dogs or chili dogs?
That's an interesting question, but I'm not actually a big fan of chili dogs. I like just a hot dog with plain ketchup, so hot dogs for me.
Hot dogs? Mike?
Hot dogs.
I think hot dogs can be anything. I like hot dogs with chili. I like hot dogs with sauerkraut. I like hot dogs with mustard. I like hot dogs with relish. All separate.
If you had to pick, though.
Hamburger.
Good answer.
Sadly, it has to be hot dogs for me. I love me a good chili dog, especially if it's a Polish dog, but there is nothing in this universe that tastes quite like a hot dog smothered in mustard with the big slices of dill pickles across it. Oh my god. Oh, it's great. Alright, next one. This is from the same lady. Go-kart, golf cart, or quad?
I like looking like a gentleman, so golf cart.
Mike?
Go-kart.
Quad.
I'm legally blind, so I take what I have the least chance of wrecking, golf cart.
That's right. James and I would drive a golf cart around together.
Damn right. Just get some leather members only jackets and ride around in our golf cart.
That would be great fun.
James and Will's tour of California college campuses. Come on, hop in our go-kart. Or sorry, golf cart. Fuck, I'm already drunk. Or last one. This one's interesting. Goldfish or lizard for a pet?
Well, I've had both. And technically, I still do. So this is not a good question for me. I can pick between them.
Mike chooses goose.
I choose
Goldfish.
Goldfish. And not gold. To be honest, goldfish for the stupidest reason. I'm sorry to cut you off, Justin. Let me finish this up real quick. Goldfish for the stupidest reason, which is simply number one, they're cheaper. Number two, a lot less maintenance. Number three, easier to replace.
I agree on all of those counts, and that is exactly why I chose goldfish.
Justin?
Neither.
Neither.
Kill them both.
Kill them both.
Extinctify.
Hey, James.
I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to figure out if this is how Justin actually feels, or if he's just trying to be the smartass out of the group.
No. Phobia, kill them both, extinctify.
If you pick this email, thank you very much for providing your answers. I will inform you of my decision shortly.
What?
So, yeah, look to that.
That's something to look forward to.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. Okay, who's we going to do first? Like I said, I've got 4 left. One's for me, one's for Mike, one's for Will, one's for Justin. So, who would like to go first?
Me.
All right. This one comes from Courtney Hangshaw from Texas. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name. If you guys haven't figured this out yet, I'm really bad at those. I just appreciate you providing them.
Damn, she lives too far away.
I know. All right. Her question to you is, this email is for Original Justin, the producer of KoopaTalkLive. My question is short and simple, which is a freaking lie. Sorry. My question is short and simple. Basically, all I'd really like to know is, when you're doing the production process for KTL and the other shows that you do on the Collective Network, is this truly your passion? Is this what you want to do with your life? If so, I do have similar aspirations, and I would like to know a little bit more about the creative process and how you go about, how you turn something like a raw live episode into a finished product that will eventually be on something like iTunes. Also, as I said before, is this really your passion? Is this really your ambition? Is this what you want to see yourself doing as a legitimate profession, maybe in 1 year, 2, 5, 10, or 15? Thank you very much. Lots of love.
Well, I was sitting here like, I don't really have an answer. But then I kind of came up with one where I've always, from the beginning, even before I started the collective show being what the network is named after, I created the collective show as one show on this network I was trying to start on Stickam, a radio network of talk radio, of, with music in between. It would be like an hour and some, no commercials. Instead of commercials, it would be music and stuff like that. And it was, fuck if I can't remember the name of what that was. But my buddy, Ari Manis, he actually had the idea. He wanted to do a TV network where we all kind of did different TV shows. And I was like, part of that. And then they stopped doing it, and it's like, well, I want to do a whole radio network. We need shows. Well, I love the stream.tv. Let's do the collective show. After we did the collective show for a while, we started doing Super Awesome Film Show and Sports Bash, and eventually we did KoopaTalkLive now. And I think that would be the dream. I think that the letter was pretty serious, so I'm trying to give a serious answer. I guess the dream would be to have a Howard 101 type network where we could air replays and new episodes 24/7. End of my answer.
That's kind of awesome. Well, the only thing you didn't really answer there was her question about, you didn't answer the process question. She said she's interested in this kind of work herself and kind of wanted to know a little bit about the process from taking, just the raw stuff and putting it into a full production kind of thing that you'd upload on something like iTunes.
I'd say contact me personally, because I think it's just kind of boring. I never really learned how to do it. I just kind of do it. And I think if I were to ever sit down and try to teach somebody how to do it, I would have a hard time explaining it all. But I mean, basically, we do the show live, we record it, and then I edit it, and then I add music while I'm editing it. Not to sound like a dick, but if she wants my experience, contact me so we can talk about all the different parts of the process. Because if there are parts of the process that she knows about, I don't want to repeat myself or talk about stuff she already knows,
So there you go, open invitation. All right, Mike or Will? I'll go after Mike or Will. So who wants to go last in this? I guess.
Go, Mike.
Okay.
All right, Mike's. Okay, Mike, yours is from Amanda, living in not only LA, but East LA. That's called being damn specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What she wants to know is, you seem to be the only member of the KoopaTalkLive crew that seems to have any kind of experience in sports games. This makes me wonder if you by chance have any kind of athletic history. If so, what is it? Or are you simply just playing out some boyish fantasy in these games that you've always had some kind of attraction to?
No, I'm actually the only meathead on this frickin' show. Period.
Yep. We've called him a meathead in the past, too.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, high school frickin' football, basketball, baseball, a little bit of wrestling. I hold the record for frickin' quarterback sacks in a season for 4 years. I don't just make it up. I lived it. And I'm planning on coaching football at my local high school next year. So if that answers your question, there you go.
All right. Mine is from, and honestly, if this is a bogus name, I'm mildly mad. If not, this is way too awesome. Name is Catherine. No last name given, which is why I think it may be mildly bogus. And only because of the fact that it's spelled Catherine with the K like in the video game that just came out. You know what? If so, that is way too cool. If not, you should be ashamed. But I will still answer your question one way or the other. Just pointing that out. If that's really your name, that is really cool. That is really cool. All right, Catherine with a K. Also location not given. Question is written for James Leffingwell, the host of Koopa Talk Live. I was simply curious, do you have any previous radio history, and do you plan on going into professional radio as a profession? I have noticed that you seem to have a take-charge attitude when you host Koopa Talk Live. You seem to be pretty good at keeping people on topic, and you seem to take demand of the radio as if you were a general in a battlefield. I was just curious if this comes from prior experience, and if this is something you plan on pursuing in the future. Well, first off, thank you for the awesome compliment. That was really cool. As far as prior experience goes, see here. I think when I fell in love with podcasting, I really got to pay that to Justin because he'd have me on as a guest quite frequently on the Collective Network, and then I'd host the Collective Network and a lot of different things. It just sitting there. Basically, with not much on my plate as far as what I was doing in my life was, I would sit there, watch the stream, and then the collective show would come on, and I'd get hit up from Justin, hey, we're doing a collective, so on and so forth. You want to get on here, and I loved the atmosphere, I loved the experience, I loved everything about it, and that's really what got me into deciding to do my own podcast. As far as a future career, I've honestly considered several times on whether or not I wanted to cut out segments and pieces from episodes of Koopa Talk Live, from episodes of the Collective, so on and so forth, and actually make a demo CD that I could actually, present to, a current radio broadcaster, radio station. And I'd freaking love to get a job as a DJ. It would just be so awesome. The only thing is that the only music I really, really, really am passionate and care about is, kind of the 80s stuff, the 80s rock, the 80s metal, so on and so forth. And because of this, I couldn't do it with the kind of passion that I have when I do this show. If it were, modern rock or, just a modern station of any kind, really, I would really have to be in that atmosphere to be able to have the kind of, commanding power and the amount of passion that I have about this particular topic, in order to be successful at the career. So I hope that answers your question. And thank you, Justin, for, setting me down on this path. It was awesome. It's still a fun ride today. All right. Will, you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. This one comes from 2 seconds. Vicky T in North Carolina. No last name, just last initial. Vicky T in North Carolina. Hi, this is a question specifically for William Stasinski, co-host of KoopaTalkLive. I would simply like to know if William Stasinski happens to be the kind of man who is simply focused on his career, and that's why he would decide to live in a situation such as Job Corps. I myself went to Job Corps for about 3 months, found that I did not care for the situation, and actually left and started to pursue college at my own hometown. So, with putting yourself in a situation like Job Corps, is this because of the fact that you just want to be able to focus on your career and not have to have any kind of distractions, such as home, friends, family, and so forth? And if so, does this mean that for the time being you have given up on things such as dating, friends, family, etc., and right now it's just all about focusing on this career path?
That's actually a really good question, and on some of the parts it's true, some of the parts it's false. It's good that someone who's actually had a background at Job Corps is writing to me about this. With Job Corps, it's not that I'm just there to focus on, trying to make a future for myself. It's because it's a free education. The biggest thing I don't want to have to do is take out college loans. So what I'm trying to do is not have to owe anybody anything before I even get a job. Because in the area where I live, Spokane, Washington, it's extremely, extremely difficult to get any job now without 2 years of customer service experience. And so Job Corps was kind of an opportunity for me to go and get a free education and get my foot in the door so that I could get a job and get some money so I wouldn't have to take out college loans. While I'm at Job Corps, I'm not really there for the kind of social reform stuff that they kind of try to get me to buy into. I'm more there to get my education and make a future for myself. I think that I'm a well enough person outside of Job Corps, but while I'm at Job Corps, I'm really just focused on my education there. And I'm not really planning on dating anybody while I'm at Job Corps. My family, I do keep in contact with them, though not to the extent that some people do. Like, I have a phone that I can contact my family on at any time. I just choose not to because, really, how can you miss someone if they don't go away? So this is kind of my first time actually moving out of the house with my family and everything. Before I went to Job Corps, I hopped between my mom and my dad, their living situations. And so Job Corps is really my first chance to go out and do my own thing with my life. So I guess I'm really taking advantage of that and making sure that I become my own person. Yeah, that long enough for you?
No, just a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of personal business here that we do have to take care of is... sadly, it looks like we are no longer going to be able to be on iTunes, at least for the time being. And we're doing some stuff with YouTube, and we're making a lot of changes to try to really improve the quality of Season 2, or World 2, as we keep calling it. We will, of course, still be on Blogspot and some other things. I believe the person to really kind of give the lowdown on all this would definitely be Justin. So if Justin wants to kind of chime in and just kind of, make sure that the fans do know, what's coming, what's changing, what's happening. Did Justin, if you want to take over from here?
YouTube.com/collective network, one word, no underscore. Is that good enough? We no do iTunes right now because can't pay bill. No. And it's my theory that possibly we could reach more people with YouTube, but I could be wrong.
All right. What about some of the changes you're doing for Season 2?
We got kind of a hybrid between television and radio. It's, as you obviously can tell, we've got video, we've got pictures, we've got graphics and things on screen. So if you want, you can always minimize it and surf the web and listen to the show. Or it's kind of like an audio commentary or something. However, in reverse, we've got video and pictures to complement our radio show.
Now, the only thing that does really suck about this whole transition is that now there really is, and this is something that we've got to try to figure out some way to handle. I'm hoping me and Justin get together and figure out some kind of solution, is that because of this new hybrid and because we can't be on iTunes anymore, there really is no more way to take Koopa Talk Live with you on the go, which is, a lot of people like to ingest their podcasts and their online radio is, dump it on their iPod, dump it on their MP3 player, so on and so forth, and listen to it on their commutes or while they're at work or so on and so forth. And I'm not sure if we can come up with a solution for those people. Justin would have a better idea.
Go to www.youtube-mp3.org and post our YouTube link there, and then download the MP3.
Yeah, that's what actually I was going to suggest, but I wasn't sure if we should.
So you definitely, for the time being, and we can't stress this enough, for the time being, you're going to have to work a little bit harder to, get the MP3 and get that, on your mobile devices. Now, I'm pretty sure that, once we do get things back up and rolling and we have the iTunes back, I'm pretty sure that Justin will take the time to upload the MP3 formats of all the past episodes, I would assume.
Again, I don't believe anybody wants the MP3. But if you do, email thecollective@thestream.tv and I will send you the MP3. But I believe that we can get hundreds of views within the next year, hundreds of views for one episode, maybe by E3. That's my prediction. By E3 2012, I believe we can put up an episode on YouTube only and get that amount of views, even if we have MP3s to compete with our YouTube, competing with ourselves. I don't know. It's my crazy little hunch.
Hi, I'm James Leffingwell, Koopa Talk Live. We're here in conjunction with No Goomba Left Behind. Every day, millions of Goombas are being stomped and left hungry. We can change that with your help. Every time that you like Koopa Talk Live on Facebook, and every time you get a friend to like Koopa Talk Live on Facebook, you will save one starving Goomba. Also, you can contribute even more by sending emails to KoopaTalkLive@gmail.com. Also, you can of course check out KoopaTalkLive.blogspot.com. There are so many ways, just so many ways that you can help these poor starving Goombas, and I feel for them as much as you do, of course. Other ways that you can always support the Goombas is by you and your friends checking out the episodes of Koopa Talk Live on YouTube with our new hybrid podcasts. All you have to do is just simply go to www.youtube.com/collective network. Also, you can just simply search Koopa Talk Live, and you'll be able to find all of our videos. Remember when searching Koopa Talk Live to make that all one word. There are just so many countless ways, and they all take such little effort. In fact, you can even help the Goombas by simply making posts on our message board at KoopaTalkLive.proboards.com. Help Koopa Talk Live, and help No Goomba Left Behind. Because if we work together, we can make sure that Goombas get to eat pizza instead of being on pizza. Thank you very much for your time. Well, I guess it's just going to do it for this episode of Koopa Talk Live. Seeing as how we finished up our emails and everything else, and any kind of feedback you could give us on how we did or anything you'd like us to change with that, just give us some feedback in all those different places that we just listed off that you could give us feedback. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close the show with final thoughts.
I haven't got anything.
Hopefully the new year goes well. Fingers crossed.
Add me on Xbox, Jutton77. Let's play some Dead Island or some Borderlands. Fuck yeah!
Well, without further ado, I'm James Leffingwell.
Mike Deal.
And William Straczynski.
Thank you very much for listening, and enjoy Koopa Talk Live World 2 Level 1. May World 2 be twice as bitchin' as World 1. Thank you very much. Good night, and good gaming.
This episode of Koopa Talk Live was brought to you by Bowser and paid for by 1UP Mushrooms.